What's up everyone, welcome back to Zarx Crypto. The market is moving fast right now and there is a lot happening across Bitcoin, Ethereum and the broader altcoins market. So in this video we are breaking down the latest market moves, what's driving the price action and the key levels and developments you need to keep an eye on. So let's jump straight into today's crypto market update and I'll see you after the intro. Before we jump into the charts, let's talk about where to execute these trades. I've been looking closely at Mitrade. The biggest thing for me is trust. Mitrade. It operates under strict regulations from ASIC, CIMA, and FSC and provides up to $1 million in client funds protection. Beyond safety, they are ahead of the curve with AI. Their Mitrade GPT feature instantly summarize market news so you can exactly know what's moving on the market without reading for hours. It's a massive time saver. You can try out Mitrade GPT and their 0% commission trading completely free. Hit the link in my description to open a $50,000 demo account today. Starting with Bitcoin, BTC is trading around $63,400 on the chart. Looking at the recent price action, the first thing that stands out is the overall weakness. Bitcoin experienced a significant sell-off, followed by several attempts to recover, but buyers have struggled to maintain that momentum. We can see a pattern of sharp drops followed by relatively short-lived rebounds. There was a stronger recovery attempt toward the right side of the chart, but that move was quickly rejected and Bitcoin dropped back toward the lower part of its recent range. That tells us the market is still dealing with considerable selling pressure. For now, the area around $63,000 is important to watch. If buyers can defend this region and Bitcoin begins forming higher lows, we could see another recovery attempt. But if this area fails, the market could remain under pressure and potentially look for liquidity at lower levels. Now, there's also an interesting macro story surrounding Bitcoin. Macro investor Jordi Visser recently argued that the United States is facing serious financial problems and that Bitcoin could ultimately benefit from that situation. The basic idea is that concerns around government finances, debt, and the long-term purchasing power of traditional currencies can strengthen the argument for scarce assets like Bitcoin. But there's another macro development worth watching, this time coming from Japan. Japan appears to be moving beyond the economic environment that defined much of the last 3 decades. If inflation and interest rates continue normalizing, tighter financial conditions could affect global liquidity. And because crypto remains highly sensitive to liquidity and risk appetite, changes in Japan can potentially have consequences far beyond the Japanese market. Now let's move over to Ethereum. ETH is trading around $1,878 in the chart, and just like Bitcoin, the structure remains relatively weak. Ethereum experienced a major decline, found a temporary bottom, and then staged a strong recovery. But that recovery was rejected and the price has since moved back down. The biggest psychological level here is clearly $2,000. Ethereum needs to reclaim that area convincingly if bulls want to regain momentum. Until that happens, ETH remains in a difficult position where every recovery attempt can potentially face more selling pressure. However, something interesting is happening beneath the surface. Ethereum staking has climbed to around 34% of the ETH supply. That means a significant amount of ETH is being locked into staking rather than actively circulating in the market. At the same time, discussions around validator rewards and yields for Ethereum treasury companies are adding another layer to the staking ecosystem. So we have an interesting contrast. Ethereum's network fundamentals are seeing significant staking participation, but the price is still struggling below $2,000. That makes the next move especially important. A strong reclaim of $2,000 could improve the short-term picture, while continued rejection could keep Ethereum under pressure. For now, keep a close eye on Bitcoin around $63,000 and Ethereum around $2,000. Because these areas could help determine the market's next major direction. That's it for today's market update. Subscribe to Zarx Crypto for more crypto news, market analysis and updates, and I'll see you in the next one.